On the news tonight, presidential election petition card affirms election of President Bola Tinubu. Nigeria Business Conference, stakeholders commend multi-billion-dollar investment interest. Plus, Aviation Minister assures of world-class aviation services to enhance safety. Good evening and welcome to NTA Ijebu News at 7. Thanks for staying tuned with us. My name is Olamumi Adeniji. Here are the details of the news. The multi-billion-dollar investment interest indicated by Indian investors in Nigeria has continued to generate commendations by stakeholders in various sectors who believe Nigeria's economy is heading towards greater heights. State House correspondent Musbau Dan Wahab reports.
Don't procrastinate. Don't be frightened about investments in Nigeria. Bring it on.
The chief marketing officer of his country kicked off the process, and his canvassers soon went on the drive.
This government, the president, but also the Minister of Finance, is extremely committed to ensuring that we digitalize government services in Nigeria.
We have opportunity with infrastructural deficit of about 3 trillion to bridge between now and the next 50 years. And that creates a huge opportunity for investors like yourselves to come in to tap into that opportunity.
Not only ready for business, the Nigerian government also shows its preparedness to create the enabling environments for the existing and upcoming businesses to thrive. And convinced by the sincerity of purpose demonstrated in the policy decisions of the current administration, the existing investors are ready to double up, and new ones are grabbing the opportunity.
There is Jindal Power and Steel, which committed $3 billion business. There's also Skipper, which deals with the power, it's a power company, Indorama, as well as Ashok Leyland. So this indicates that the Indians are now ready to do business with Nigeria because of the confidence they have in the new government.
Nigeria, we are lucky to have him at this critical time because he understood business, at the same time understood governance. That's why investment is coming all over.
On the other side, Nigerian investors attracted partners in their drives with special interest in oil and gas, solar energy, information technology, agriculture, and infrastructure developments.
Our company in Nigeria currently has over 140,000 customers with this Indian partner to connect people rurally, and then we rely on technology to collect revenues from the rural areas via mobile money.
They have achieved a lot in democratizing access to digital services. So we want to learn from them how have they achieved this, and also how can we transfer and build similar digital public infrastructure as well as digital capacity.
Mr. President believed rightly so. He wrote about it, he speaks about it, that Nigeria can and indeed will find hundreds of billions of dollars from the international investing and domestic investors so that we build the economy.
Doubling the existing trade volume of about $15 billion in Nigeria, key players project that the strategic partnership between Nigeria and India will continue to grow in a win-win situation. From New Delhi, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the just concluded African 2023 Climate Summit is a booster for Nigeria's energy transition plans, which seeks to achieve universal access to energy by 2030 and net zero emissions by 2060. Charles Alpha reports that this is one of the several takeaways for Nigeria from the event held in Nairobi, Kenya.
With the climate summit over, there is a new Africa on the horizon. Leaders can go home satisfied knowing that Africa can define its own destiny, a sustained future and global opportunities for renewable energy and biodiversity. The unification of their voices to push on agenda for climate justice and adaptation. This means they are ready to do more serious business, to represent people of the continent and the whole of humanity. The 3-day summit has come to an end, but not without a strong statement and that is the 2023 Nairobi Declaration. The declaration points out Africa's position on climate change, climate solutions, and financing, and how it intends to tackle the impact. It seeks to leverage on the South-South trade, investment, and technological know-how to address the climate emergency. It calls on international community to help achieve that goal by easing the continent's crushing debt burden and reforming the global financial system to unblock investment.
The African Union will work out a roadmap for this declaration.
Green energy potential is going to define the future of global opportunity for unprecedented prosperity and a new paradigm of industrialization that respects the environment and supports our planet's capacity to sustain biodiversity.
$23 billion has been promised by both governments and European countries, United Arab Emirates, the EU, and the private sector.
Let us give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
As African leaders at the summit make their way out through the doors of the Kenyatta International Conference Center, Kenya, their minds will be fixed on results and implementation. By the time they return for another climate summit in 2026, will they be sharing testimonies of breakthroughs? Let's wait and see. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja has affirmed the declaration and return of Bola Tinubu as the duly elected President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Daily Assembly reports that the five-man panel of justice, led by Justice Haruna Simon Samani, gave the verdict in a unanimous decision of the court on the three consolidated petitions. And in the meantime, the National Working Committee of the Governing All Progressive Congress has described the historic judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Court as an affirmation of the People's Popular Mandate. Political correspondent Abubakar Kwanga reports that National Secretary of the party, Surajuddin Ajibola Bashiru, was speaking during a media briefing at the party National Secretariat. And in the meantime, the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidates in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, have rejected the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court. This was at a joint media briefing at the national headquarters of the PDP in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf completes the report.
This is a one-agenda media briefing. Reaction to the Presidential Election Petition Court judgment that declared President Bola Tinubu winner of the 2023 presidential election. With the message, let's keep hope alive. PDP Acting National Chairman Ambassador Umar Iliadamagun believes that the judgment of the Election Petition Court fell short of the party's expectations.
Both law and facts were visibly thrown overboard.
The presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, on his part, explained that his decision to go to court is anchored in the belief that the court is the sanctuary of justice for the journey of his political career, holds so much to the courage and fearless decisions of the judiciary.
I am therefore here to tell you that though the judgment of the court yesterday is respected, it is a judgment that I refuse to accept.
The PDP presidential candidate notes that his ultimate goal in the pursuit of justice is to ensure that democracy is further strengthened through the principles and processes of fair hearing. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And away from the presidential judgment, a group under the auspices of APC National Integrity Movement says President Tinubu's 100 days in office have ignited the hope of better things ahead of the country. The group, in its solidarity with the president, converged on the Unity Fund in Abuja, where they expressed their support to the administration's renewed hope mandate. Abdullahi Ajia has more.
Fiction on the leadership credentials of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, leaders and members of the APC National Integrity Movement, in their show of support to the current administration, say the first 100 days of the president in office have witnessed a more proactive, sensitive and deliberate policies and painstaking decisions necessary to take Nigeria out of the doldrums.
Mr. President has not failed the country. He has done very well. He's proactive in terms of responding to issues. He's somebody that is fully prepared for the job. And we are not surprised for his response towards issues of Nigerians because he has a better understanding of what he's coming in to do in the office. What he needs now is support and encouragement.
Just having 100 days and coming up with all the things that we're facing him, to have the courage to talk about the fuel subsidy removal was one great thing for this nation.
The recent inauguration of the federal cabinet, the group believes, will help translate the president's renewed hope vision into good governance.
The administration had done wonderfully well in terms of youth inclusion in government. And let's not forget that it's a developmental stage.
The partisan group urges Nigerians to be patient with the government in the face of high expectations and challenges that are surmountable with more time of commitment. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Still on the 100 days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in office, the removal of petrol subsidy by President Bola Tinubu to a cross-section of Nigerians resident in Ilorin is the hallmark of his administration's achievement in the last 100 days in office. The citizens, however, want the president to invest the proceeds from the subsidy removal to other critical sector of the economy. Abdullah Bibire completes the report.
People interviewed on the performance of President Tinubu's 100 days in office were of the opinion that 100 days is too short to assess the performances of the current administration in Nigeria.
Part of the effective leadership is for leaders not to shy away when bold decisions are supposed to be taken, as long as there's conviction that in the long run is going to benefit the masses.
Most of the people has chosen so far will take Nigeria to the next level.
Here is a man who came and met very serious problems on ground. And for him to correct those problems will take quite some time.
The appeal to the president is to, as a matter of urgency, begin to address other areas of the economy yearning for attention.
What the president needs is patience, a focus and support of Nigerians for Nigeria to become the country of our dream.
We should ensure that Nigeria have sufficient in food production, after which we can develop added value to agriculture by food processing.
He can, from the money removed from the subsidy, make some food items cheaper. They can buy some of these food items and then reduce the price for the masses.
The respondent also applauded the president for the palliative funds released to all the states of the Federation and the FCT and urged him to implement the student loan bill as soon as possible. Abdul Wahid Bibire, NTA News.
We are going on a short break now. We'll be right back with more stories. Welcome back. The news continues. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has assured Nigerians of taking proactive measures towards the provision of world-class aviation services to enhance the safety and comfort of passengers. The minister gave the assurance during the facility tour at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Ali Akabe completes the report.
Accompanied by the Managing Director, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Kabir Yusuf Mohammed, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, took the whole day to inspect various sections of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, including the cargo terminal, the domestic as well as the international terminals. The minister affirmed his determination to work with all critical stakeholders towards putting every facility in order, especially the cooling system and the escalator, among others, for the benefit of the passengers whom he accorded much priority. But generally, the minister could not hide his satisfaction on the state of the facilities.
Beyond that, we should also have a maintenance culture. And what did I tell the MD fan and my peers? I said, let us get people who can maintain them and can hold them responsible. We can give it out for people to maintain these three critical infrastructure. The lifts, or the escalators, the chillers, or the air conditioners, and the carousels, or the conveyor belts. So that is what I think we need to do. For the structurally, I think Abuja is a bit okay in terms of the structure and all of that.
Speaking on the second runway as the key priority area, the minister added his ministry and that of the Federal Capital Territory are putting all machineries in place for settling those concerned in order to pave way for contractors to be back to site.
As of today, the report I have is that the money we paid to FCT for them to pay to the settlers there, they have started paying them and they have started moving. I asked the CECC people who are doing the project, they said they are giving me a date of sometime next week for them to clear the site and move to site. So we are going to invite Mr. President to come and commission it, and it's a project Nigerians have been waiting for forever.
The minister also inspected the ongoing project of the permanent headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Core members have been advised to contribute their quota in finding lasting solutions to the present economic challenges facing the nation. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde gave the charge at the closing ceremony of the 2023 Batch B Stream 2 orientation course in Isheyin. Adebola Agbaje has the details.
Governor Seyi Makinde, represented by the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Youth and Sports, Olubukola Oladipo, urged the core members to always focus on nation building to fulfill the main purpose for the establishment of the National Youth Service Scheme. He as well encouraged them to obey the both host communities and authorities at their place of primary assignments.
We all have our individual roles to play to redeem this nation. Endeavor to productively put in your best, no matter how little or big it might be.
Earlier in his address, the Oyo State NYSC coordinator, Odoba Uben Oche, explained that the orientation course have prepared the core members to impact positively in the unity and development of the nation.
We should add value to the certificate we have acquired by embarking and embracing self-development programs alongside your primary assignment.
Over 2,000 core members were deployed to various communities and local governments across the state. From Isheyin, Adebola Agbaje, NTA News.
And that concludes the bulletin for this evening. Bumi is standing by to bring the Yoruba version of the news. Have a good night rest and a beautiful weekend ahead.
Ilé-ẹjọ́ tó ń gbẹ́jọ́ ètò ìdìbò sípò aláṣẹ ti ṣe ìfìdímúlẹ̀ ìyànsípò aláṣẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu. Ìpàdé àpérò okòwò ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà àti India, àwọn alẹ́nulọ́rọ̀ gbóríyìn fún ìfẹ́ ìdókòwò ọlọ́pọ̀ bílíọ̀nù dọ́là. Ẹ káalẹ́, àpò ọrọ̀ ajé òní, ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn la mú wá fún yín láti iléeṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó fìdí kalẹ̀ sílùú Ìjẹ̀bú Òde. Bùnmi òní ní orúkọ tèmi, ẹ̀wọ̀n kọ̀fìdílé láti gbádùn ìròyìn náà dọ́ba. Ìfẹ́ láti dókòwò ọlọ́pọ̀ bílíọ̀nù dọ́là látọwọ́ àwọn olùdókòwò ilẹ̀ India ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ló ń tẹ̀síwájú láti gba oríyìn látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn lọ́gàálọ́gàá lẹ́ka gbogbo. Àwọn tí wọ́n gbàgbọ́ wípé orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ń forí lé ibi gíga. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Musbau Dan Wahab ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí ṣọwọ́ sí wa. Ìpàdé àpérò ojú ọjọ́ ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀ èyí tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá sópin jẹ́ okun fún ìgbèrò ìgbẹ́ agbára orílẹ̀-èdè yìí, èyí tó ń fẹ́ láti ṣe àṣeyọrí níní ẹ̀tọ́ sí agbára àpapọ̀ tí yóò bá fi di ọdún 2030. Charles Alpha fàbọ̀jẹ́ ni wípé èyí jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára ohun tí ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà mú kúrò níbi ìpàdé náà tó wáyé ní Nairobi nílùú Kenya. Ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó ń tukọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí, ìyẹn APC, ti ṣe àpèjúwe ìdájọ́ ilé-ẹjọ́ tó ń ṣègbẹ́jọ́ ètò ìdìbò sípò aláṣẹ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìfìdímúlẹ̀ ìfẹ́ àwọn aráàlú. Akọ̀wé àpapọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú náà Surajudeen Ajibola Bashiru ló sọ̀rọ̀ níbi àpérò àwọn oníròyìn tó wáyé ní olú ilé ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ọ̀hún. Abubakar Akwanga ní ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn yìí. Ẹgbẹ́ kan lábẹ́ ìdánimọ̀ APC Integrity Movement ti sọ wípé ọgọ́rùn-ún ọjọ́ aláṣẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu nípò ìdarí orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ti ṣe okùnfà ìrètí fún ọjọ́ iwájú rere ilẹ̀ yìí. Ẹgbẹ́ náà nínú ìtìlẹ́yìn rẹ̀ fún aláṣẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu kóra jọ sí Unity Fountain nílùú Àbújá níbi tí wọ́n ti fi ìtìlẹ́yìn wọn hàn fún àgbédání ìrètí ọ̀tun àkóso ìṣèjọba aláṣẹ Tinubu. Abdullahi Ajia ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí ṣọwọ́ sí wa. Àyọkúrò owó ìrànwọ́ orí epo bẹntiró látọwọ́ aláṣẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu sí ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tí wọ́n fi ìlú Ìlọrin ṣe ibùgbé jẹ́ ọ̀pákùtẹ̀lẹ̀ àṣeyọrí ìgbìmọ̀ ìṣèjọba tó wà lórí àlééfà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ láàrin ọgọ́rùn-ún ọjọ́ tí wọ́n ti dé ipò ìṣèjọba. Àwọn ènìyàn náà ẹ̀wẹ̀ ń fẹ́ kí aláṣẹ ó dókòwò lórí owó èlé tó jẹyọ látara àyọkúrò náà sí àwọn ẹ̀ka tó ṣe kókó ní ọrọ̀ ajé. Abdulwaheed Bibiri ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí. Wọ́n ti gba àwọn agùnbánirọ̀ lámọ̀ràn láti kó ipa tiwọn nínú wíwá ìyanjú sí ìṣòro ọrọ̀ ajé èyí tó ń kojú orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ Ṣèyí Mákindé ló gbàmọ̀ràn yìí níbi ayẹyẹ ìparí ètò ìsìnrú ìlú ti Ọ̀wọ̀ bí ipa kejì nílùú Ìṣẹ́yìn. Adébọ́lá Àgbájé ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí wálé fún wa. Ní báyìí ẹ̀yin ará, ẹ jẹ́ ká dánu dúró díẹ̀ nínú ìròyìn wa láti tẹ́tí sí ìkéde tí a ní fún yín. Padà ìròyìn tẹ̀síwájú. Ìjókòó ìgbẹ́jọ́ ètò ìdìbò sípò aláṣẹ nílùú Àbújá ti ṣe ìfìdímúlẹ̀ ìjáwé olúborí Bọ́lá Tinubu gẹ́gẹ́ bí aláṣẹ tí a dìbò yàn lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìgbìmọ̀ àwọn adájọ́ ti ṣe ẹlẹ́ni márùn-ún èyí tí adájọ́ Haruna Simon darí rẹ̀ ló ṣe ìdájọ́ yìí nínú ìpinnu àjùmọ̀ṣe ilé ẹjọ́ náà lórí ẹ̀sùn 3. Délé Àtúnbí ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí wálé fún wa. Ìdásí àìpẹ́ yìí látọwọ́ ìgbèrò ìrètí ọ̀tun èyí tí àfojúsùn rẹ̀ jẹ́ láti ró àwọn tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó fún láwùjọ lágbára tí ń tẹ̀síwájú láti pe àkíyèsí tó nílò tayọ ilẹ̀ yìí pàápàá. Àti pẹ̀lú ìdámọ̀ yìí ní ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ tó gbòòrò kan ṣe jẹ jáde lórí iṣẹ́ àkànṣe aya olórí orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Adéníyì Táíwò ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí wálé fún wa. Kí a tó mú ìròyìn ti àṣálẹ́ òní wá sí ìdádúró ẹgbẹ́ àwọn kókó tí a mẹ́nubà lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. A mú wá fún yín wípé ilé ẹjọ́ tó ń gbẹ́jọ́ ètò ìdìbò sípò aláṣẹ ti ṣe ìfìdímúlẹ̀ ìyànsípò aláṣẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu. Ìpàdé àpérò okòwò ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà àti India àwọn alẹ́nulọ́rọ̀ gbóríyìn fún ìfẹ́ ìdókòwò ọlọ́pọ̀ bílíọ̀nù dọ́là. Tó bá onírúurú jù báyìí lọ nínú ìròyìn wa fún ti àṣálẹ́ òní ẹ pàdé wa ní ọ̀la fún àkọ́tún ìròyìn. Bùnmi òní ní orúkọ tèmi. Ó dàárọ̀ òun ayọ̀ láòsùn.
Kajo, 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 kayo, kayo, kayo. Uyo me yo le uosan okun mi o. Uyo me yo, uyo me yo. Oh, uyo me yo le uosan okun mi o. Uyo me yo, uyo me yo. Uyo me yo le uosan okun mi o. Everybody's born a winner, yeah, yeah. If only you just believe, yeah, yeah.
Judgment that declared President Bola Tinubu winner of the 2023 presidential election. With a message, let's keep hope alive. PDP acting national chairman Ambassador Umar Iliadamagun believes that the judgment of the election petition court fell short of the party's expectations.
Both law and facts were visibly thrown overboard.
The presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, on his part, explained that his decision to go to court is anchored in the belief that the court is the sanctuary of justice for the journey of his political career, holds so much to the courage and fearless decisions of the judiciary.
I am therefore here to tell you that though the judgment of the court yesterday is respected, it is a judgment that I refuse to accept.
The PDP presidential candidate notes that his ultimate goal in the pursuit of justice is to ensure that democracy is further strengthened through the principles and processes of fair hearing. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
With a strong conviction on the leadership credentials of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, leaders and members of the APC National Integrity Movement, in their show of support to the current administration, say the first 100 days of the president in office have witnessed a more proactive, sensitive and deliberate policies and painstaking decisions necessary to take Nigeria out of the doldrums.
Mr. President has not failed the country. He has done very well. He's proactive in terms of responding to issues. He's somebody that is fully prepared for the job. We are not surprised for his response towards issues of Nigerians because he has a better understanding of what he's coming in to do in the office. What he needs now is support and
just having 100 days and coming up with all the things that we're facing in.
the day's job commences. Akonde is a beans farmer. He learns the cultivation of beans from his father, and his father learned from his own father. Beans farming is the family stock in trade. He weeds out grasses and tends to his bean crop diligently.
When we say beans, when we say fasolus, when we say cowpea, we say vigna ungulata. So there are a lot of reasons to this. Now let's start the etiology of that, the genesis of that. You know, in the olden days, around before 17th centuries, okay, some scientists, Linnaeus, he first classified it as Dolichos ungulata. Dolichos ungulata. No, Dolichos. I mean, Linnaeus is a father of taxonomy, of classification, naming of plant or animal. So he named it as that. But later, Savy, as a scientist called Savy, he now renamed it as Vigna ungulata. This was after the former director of Botanical Institute in Savy. So the man named Savy, and Vigna, sorry. So now Vigna ungulata. You look at beans very well, like a kidney shape, and at the point you see like something like eye. So that's what we call cowpea eye. So because of that, in Latin word, they call it ungus. That ungus means claw or small nail. So from that point ago, this is a variety of beans or cowpea that has small nail. So small nail means ungulatus, which means small nail. That means Vigna ungulata. So the name became popular since that time.
This farm is approximately 2 hectares and produces annually tons of beans. Beans are a delicacy the world over.
With our researches, scientists, we work a lot and look at a lot of about three factors. One, morphology, that is, we look at the structure of that. We look at genetics, that is, what is the genetic composition of that crop. We look at that, then we look at some protein structure. All these factors, these three factors, they also supported the fact that they are from Africa. But there's also one scientist, Vavilov, he said, where there's more variation of a particular species is most likely to be the center of origin. And where we are in Africa, that's where we have the highest number. We have around 150 species of cowpea. Other 150 species, 120 are from Africa.
Beans are also very rich in quality protein and provides a healthy alternative for meat and other animal protein. Beans have significant amounts of fiber, with 1 cup of cooked beans providing between 9 and 13 grams of fiber, which helps lower blood cholesterol. It also contains complex carbohydrates, folate, and iron. Beans is indeed an essential part of a healthy diet.
I love cowpea from birth. Up to now, if you ask my students, I ask them food, God buy me bread and beans. I love beans. And from the lecture my teacher gave me when I was in secondary school, that protein gives me that cowpea gives me protein that makes it to grow very well. I'll just give you the genesis of my own. I was short when I was in secondary school. Primary, secondary, they called me rat. What's a rat? Small rat. Someone that is short, as if you are dwarf. And suddenly, when they see me, there was a meeting last month with our ex-students from that secondary school. They look at me and say, we know this face, but this face cannot be as tall as this. I said, well, thanks to my diet. He said, what is the secret? I said, well, I eat beans a lot, and I watch my diet. So I wouldn't say maybe cowpea compared to my size, my height this time. So protein nature of cowpea is unquantifiable.
Beans are loved by many in Nigeria and Africa in general.